Good evening, everyone. I'm calling to order our regular Tuesday, July 10th, 2012 Commissioners meeting. We have the invitation given by Commissioner McLemore, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Commissioner Morrow.
Please bow your heads. Father, we're here today to ask for your blessing and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just to the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, under presentation and delegations, we'd like to recognize Phillip Beckham of the Water Department as June 2012 Strongest Link Award recipient.
Clang. You always hear them coming.
Can't hear.
Okay, it works. We'll back up a little. Now, this evening, get to introduce Phillip Beckham to y'all. In 2007, he came to the city in his current employment position in the water department. And Phillip came as a trainee. That means he wasn't an operator. He wasn't anything at the time other than a human being. Let's clear that up. And we don't usually do that unless we have an employee, a potential employee has a particular skill set. Because usually we were looking for either operators, one, to be honest with you, two or three. At the time, we were going through a crunch, and Mr. Smith and y'all took care of that problem, and he's one of the people that have benefited from that. And how y'all took care of that, we have a progressive job salary promotion situation where when a person attains a certain rank, being operator 3, then operator 2, and operator 1, there's a step increase in pay. And Phillip, a matter of fact, Martha is this plant superintendent, nominated him and has for the last couple months, and had some pretty stiff competition. But Phillip is a person that we look for in Griffin, like Dave Moss and Ernest Coussant, who spent 37 years in the system, because the knowledge that he has about that plant is quite important. So we're hoping that Phillip's going to stay, but one other thing. Phillip's going to be a father. And I think his name's going to be Parker.
Parker, that's right.
That's right. So that's another great thing that's happened to him this year. And if all y'all had kids, then you know it's a good thing to be a parent.
And was Carl your grandfather?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
You come from good stock.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. But on behalf of the city of Griffin, we're happy for you to have the link in the chain. You want to say something?
No,
Oh, you should.
Next, we'd like to review financials for May 2012.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Good
Thing
evening.
is pretty hot here.
Won't touch the microphone.
That's
Ah,
a
it's
new
a loud mic.
microphone.
Won't touch the microphone.
I'm
Yeah,
not touching
it's
the
there so the audience can hear you as well.
I'm trying to keep the numbers as small as possible. Okay, first off, we'll look at the cash balance report. And I'd like to highlight just 3 items there. Number 1 is the wastewater fund cash, and 505. The reserved amount of $2.1 million, that's for the bond payment that's coming up in, well, that's already been executed as of June. So that $2 million's out. And the stormwater utility, just a few items down, number 560, that shows a shortfall of 9578. Well, that number, that's a timing difference between when we actually issue checks versus when the cash transfers in the accounts. That's on the books only. Cash is in the bank. So just want to reassure everyone. And then the last item I'd like to highlight here is Fund 771, which is the OPEB Trust Fund, the 787. We've transferred roughly almost $700,000 at this point to fund the OPEB account, the trust fund. So we're, as far as I'm concerned, for fiscal year ending June 30th, we're 100% funded for our OPEB liabilities. Moving on to the local option sales tax and special purpose local option sales tax numbers. We have one more left on lost, one more month left there, and it looks like we're going to come in pretty good there, as expected, over budget. And on the splost, it's anybody's guess if we're going to get any more money in. I haven't looked to see if we have the June numbers posted.
Okay. Why
Yes,
would
ma'am.
we not get any more? Is it because we've met what we were supposed to get?
No, what happens is if collections go down, the bond for the construction has to be satisfied first.
Oh, okay.
So if collections are going down, that means that principal gets set aside before any distributions are made.
And this comes through the county? I mean, the money, the splost is, and then they transfer it over to us? Is that how it goes?
It gets remitted directly to the Bank of New York, which is the custodian for all the funds for city and county,
Okay.
and for all the participants in the SPLOST program. They are the administrators. They're the ones who disperse the funds
Okay.
as they're requested. And then we have our interim statements by fund, and I'll open the door for questions.
Well, I want to have a comment.
Yes, sir.
When I see the revenues at 96% of budget and expenditures at 81%, I feel good. So I assume we're going to have some expenditures come in here June to balance that up, but
We are actually preparing quite a few rollovers that are going to be moved over to the 2013 fiscal year. There are projects that have been initiated but not completed, so those projects are rolling over, and that's the reason you're seeing a significant difference in budget versus actual on the expenditure side. And that'll be forthcoming at the next commission meeting. Any other questions?
No. Thank you.
clean.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, the chairperson opens the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing, or to the concerns within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. Is there anyone on my left that would like to come forward and address the board? Is there anyone on the right that would like to come forward and address the board? Thank you. We have no public hearing.
Do we have?
Hey, we got one gentleman in the back.
You got one
Please
person
come
back here.
forward. Would you please give us your name and address for the minutes?
My name is Marty McGee, and my business resides at 410 West Taylor Street, Griffin, Georgia, 30224.
Would you give us your physical living address?
308 Ashford Place. That's in Hillendale subdivision.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I've been wondering about my sign frontage on 410 West Taylor Street, and well, I've asked the city a couple of times, and I understand that it reads like one sign per building, one freestanding permanent sign. But like lately, I've been seeing around the city like an A-frame sign, like you sit beside the road, and I've been seeing them on the sidewalks. Well, only two actually, But my question was, the length away from the road, and if it's not in the physical path of like turning vehicles, I think it's about 15 feet from the road. That would be on Taylor Street. Would it be possible for me to have an A-frame sign? Actually, everybody else usually has just people out there holding them and shaking the signs and stuff, but I mean, but you see them quite rarely. I mean, like frequently. And I think I'm the one that started that. I've been in business since 1997, and the reason I'm asking this is on kind of the old Cartlidge Furniture building. It comes out away from our building, and then you got the gas pumps on this side, and it actually blocks our visual going up and down Taylor.
The phone place there. You're in the phone business there.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And the sign that I'm referring to, it'd be about a 3x7 vertical and a lateral sign. It would be an A-frame sign. It would be a portable sign that I would put out every morning and take up every evening during my business hours.
Sir, what you're asking is a code question which really can't be answered by the commission. It has to be handled through the permitting process under the sign ordinance.
Yes, sir. I was told that I needed to come.
Mr. Freeman, he's back here, Taurus Freeman, Development Director. Hold your hand up, Taurus. There he is.
I had spoke to him, and he was actually checking on it, and I had got a call back from him, and I had spoke to him about coming to the meeting, and he said I really didn't need to, but he had called me, but I didn't really get no other reference.
He'll give you whatever information you require. So
okay,
you'll just follow up with him.
Okay.
And I'll say that if you don't like the answer.
Well, I'm just saying on kind of my business.
No, I understand that, but where I'm going to with this is we do have sign ordinance. Sometimes folks want a sign that doesn't fit with the ordinance.
Yes, sir.
You always have the right to put in for a variance and appeal and come before us and see if we'll change. We don't recommend that, but that's
well, this
you're
is
right.
my first time ever coming before y'all, and I apologize if I came before y'all wrongly, but I just needed to know an answer because of the people out there that I have standing. That just don't look proper to me, and it's not businesslike. And I think A-frame sign would be more proper and businesslike in the city of Griffin.
Well,
thanks for taking time to hear me.
We're always happy to have you.
Thank you.
Us.
Okay, is there anyone on the right that would like to come forward and address the board? Okay.
Madam Chair, if there's no objection, I would move that we approve the consent agenda as one.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda items 3 and 4. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0. Next, we move into our regular agenda. Consider a 1-year lease between the City of Griffin and Christopher Blaylock for Suite 523 in 1 Griffin Center for $1,776 per year, $148 per month. Adam Kaiser will address.
Good evening.
Good evening. If there are no questions about it, I move that we approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0.
Thank you, Adam.
Consider a lease between the City of Griffin and Griffin Spalding County Schools for property described as room D101 at Taylor Street campus of the GSCS in the amount of $12 per year through December 31st, 2013, with 4 2-year auto renewals. Director of Planning and Development, Taurus Freeman will address.
Madam Chairman, this is our archive project with the City of Griffin and Griffin Spalding County Schools.
I think it's a wonderful idea, and I appreciate all the ones that have been working on this to make it a reality. With that in mind, I move that we approve.
Drew, do I need to abstain?
Probably should.
Okay.
I'll second. I'll make this comment that we have been moving forward with this. The school folks have been extremely gracious and helpful, and as of tonight and tomorrow, we're going to work Wednesday at 11:45, we're meeting with folks about cleaning it up and getting some painting done and what we do. This is our, I call it our starter archive, and we hope it grows here to a wonderful archive like they have down in Thomaston. So, Taurus, I appreciate your help in this.
The
Thank
meeting
you,
is 11:45, and where will it be?
It'd be at the
At the
room over there on the Taylor Street campus.
Okay,
At the end room there,
okay.
across from the Coke building.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion?
I was just gonna, agree with, Commissioner Todd.
Okay.
I agree with her comment.
All in favor, let it be known by a show of hands. 5, 0, 1.
That's right.
Thank you.
Okay. Consider the purchase of 4 23.5 by 25 solid tire and wheel assemblies from Setco Incorporated for the solid waste division for the total amount of $31,992.
Mayor, I'm going to move we approve, but I sure have a question on this one.
I have a question also.
Can I get a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Discussion?
All right, of course, 4 wheels and tires at this kind of money just about water your eyes.
They're humongous.
I figured that out. These are feet, not inches, right?
No, these tires are solid rubber. They're 25 inches across the rim, 25 inches of rubber, which makes it the 25 by 25 and 23 and a half inches wide. So what you do, those are the tires that goes on the loader that loads all the garbage into the transfer trailers. So using an air-filled tire would just destroy them, and they're good for about, like I said, about 16, 18 months, 12 to 16 months. It's awful. They're horrible, but
They are what they are. Well, what I question is there's a sentence in the 3rd paragraph in the letter here. It says, Setco always offers our customers a rebuild exchange program.
that is an exchange. The new ones are over 10,000 each. They
Oh, my goodness.
take our wheels. That is an exchange, and maybe I should have noted that in there, but that's the $7,900 and something dollars a piece is the exchange price.
But it's a new tire.
Oh, yeah.
Using our wheels and rebuild the tire. All that.
Yeah, it's the center, and then they remold all the new rubber.
So we are doing the rebuild exchange
Oh, yes,
program,
sir.
and it's still
Yes, sir.
horribly expensive.
And we get a little bit less than a year and a half out of that rebuild.
It loads over 40,000 tons of garbage a year, though.
It's a lot of garbage.
It's a lot of garbage.
Anything else? Okay. All in favor, let it be known by a show of hands. 6-0. Okay, consider approval of engagement letters for audit services with Malding and Jenkins, certified public accountants. Marcus?
I have a question, Marcus, before I move forward with this.
Yes, sir.
Last year, I distinctly remember my fellow commissioner here, Mr. Bayah, asking if it wasn't about time to rotate auditors as you do periodically, and I thought the answer was yes, but this is the same firm, so I'm speaking for him. He didn't know that.
Question that I was going to ask.
Same question.
Yes, that's a good question. And that falls on me for having to take the time to write the bid, to do the specifications, and get it out. And that's in process, it's in development. It's not something you just say, I want audit services. There are several pages of laundry items to check. And what kind of background do we want? They have to have government. The specification sheet is pretty lengthy. And I have the standard process and standard bid package from the Government Finance Officers Association that just needs to be tailored to us. And that falls on me to take the time to do that. Just have not had the opportunity.
I think it needs to be said that this no way questions Mullen and Jenkins. They've done a great job. But
Oh, no, I agree.
It's just good business to rotate auditors occasionally.
The general rule of thumb is 5 years, okay, and then you rotate out. Now, in our circumstances, over the past several years, we've changed out the financial reporting system. Didn't make sense to change, because you would have the auditors to audit both the old system and the new system, which compounded the workload. Then we changed out the utility billing system, Again, that would require additional workload on both auditors to audit both systems. So we said we were going to defer a year, and that was last year, and due to circumstances beyond my control, taking the time out to write the bid and write the specifications just didn't occur.
What did our audit cost last year?
Roughly the $79,000.
And we're getting a $9,000 reduction this year? Or are we not as complicated?
No,
Because I
actually,
think
there's
this-
going to be, it'll be about the same. We're dropping in one area, but we're increasing because we have the A133, which is the governmental audit for all the community housing improvement programs, the neighborhood stabilization programs, the CDBG block grants. There's going to be a little bit more work that's going to be required for that.
Right, well, you've got not to exceed 70,300.
Yes.
Well, that's just for the audit, doesn't include all the ancillaries.
Correct. There's the audit for the Department of Natural Resources with for solid waste, and then there's also the MEAG report that's in there. So there's 3 letters.
Okay, so
Alrighty.
my question really is then, next year, we'll have a bid package, consider other auditors. Is that a true statement?
I will do my best, sir, to get that out.
Because they've been our auditors since I've been on this board, which is
Yes, sir.
7 years now.
They've been doing our audit since 2004. That was the 2003 was the last the audit done by the previous firm. 2004 was the new report that was issued. Yes.
Well, I'll be talking with you next week.
Yes, sir. No worries. My office is actually I'll be out of town next week.
Well, Madam Chair, with all that, I move that we approve
Yes,
these
sir.
engagement letters and prices. All of them presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
If I may, Mr. McLemore can vouch for the complexities.
Okay.
We've been going along the same path. I'll smile while you talk about it because I can relate to the same thing. I think we've had ours now going on. It's been more than 10 years, but it's a huge chore, especially when they get used to your operation. You get used to the operation. It is good practice after a certain amount of time, but it's a big pain to change.
All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 6-0.
I like that slogan, a pain to change.
Right. If people applied that
That's
to
my
marriages,
reelection
would they have longer
slogan.
marriages?
Consider a professional service agreement with Florence and Hutchinson Incorporated for dam and bridge design and construction at the Heads Creek Reservoir. Dr. Keller?
I move we approve this bid if that's no objection.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0. Consider a task order in accordance with the master service agreement with Florence and Hutchinson for civil engineering design, surveying, and bid documents for the wing wall repair at Heads Creek Reservoir for an amount not to exceed $12,300.
Madam Chair, I move we approve. I second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0. Consider a task order in accordance with the master service agreement with Paragon Consulting Group for civil engineering design, surveying, bid documents, and construction management for the Linden Melrose Bridge replacement for an amount not to exceed $31,400.
I move that we approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion?
Can I just get a general gist of what this all encompasses?
Unfortunately, as we start getting into the new environmental, we're having to do a NEPA study and an environmental, and we're gonna have to do all sorts of good stuff in order to satisfy the Corps of Engineers and present it to the Corps. Once we get that done, we'll be able to go out to bid for the culvert or the bridge. They're calling it a bridge. They're requiring us not to put a bottom in it. That the geomorphology, that that fancy word,
Cool word.
is that the bottom, it's gonna be a bridge, technically. And so that's why it costs a lot more to get into this process, unfortunately. And you're gonna see another one come probably in the next year or so on Maple Drive. The culvert at the bottom of the hill is gonna need to be replaced, and we'll go through the same process.
You talking about out my way?
Yes, ma'am.
The time to get that done, I know that's a inconvenience for those folks there.
And well, we had to cut it, the reason we had to close it down is school buses and Phil's trucks, because it was coming off the abutment.
We talking 6 months, a year to get this replaced?
The Corps has said that we probably get a 45-day turnaround on this, and then we got to bid it, so it'll probably be another, I'd say 2 months. It's going to be a little bit into the schools, and we've already talked to the school's transportation department to let them know that they're going to have to reroute in that area.
6 months.
Yeah,
How long?
6 months.
I'd say 6 months.
There we go. We got to the answer I kept asking. 6 months, thank you.
We had a motion and a second. All in favor, let it be known by show of hands.
Thank you.
6-0. Consider the purchase of an ARCGIS server from Environmental Systems Research Institute, Incorporated, for the Stormwater Division in the amount of $20,000.
Again, I have a question. I hate to be a pain tonight, but I'm good at it.
Yeah.
This is not the software or the equipment. This is a server.
It's basically a license. Jack's not here, but it's a server to stand up our work order solution system. We put off about 6 years doing this because until we have the appropriate technology behind us with Jack. So now what'll happen is you're familiar that we're doing the new work order solution system in the hyperweb. So when we pull up our information, this server will allow us to link to the map so that we actually know where everything is from pinpoint accuracy. And if Phil ever gets a routing package or anything, it'll that server will host that.
All right, I move we approve this.
A motion
Second.
and a second to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0.
Thank you.
Consider submission of a Justice Assistant grant. The grant has been applied for and all requirements have been met, with the exception of the final requirement of commission approval. The grant is in the amount of $14,204, and there is no match required.
I move we approve.
I second. I second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion?
I have a question, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I thought last time we did this, we were about to finish up the cameras, huh? Are we gonna finish them up yet?
What we're doing with the grant, it's an automatic issue. All I need from the council is to say that we will take the money or take the award of the grant.
Yeah.
And yes, sir. What we're doing, we bought surplus stuff from another city, Motorola, and I'm going to continue to use this grant to replace that older equipment. But we now have all our vehicles with in-car cameras.
Okay, so this just replaces some of that old
We're just
stuff.
replacing the old stuff, yes, sir.
I got it. I didn't understand why we were still buying cameras.
Yes, sir. We're going to continue to use this JAG grant to replace those.
Very good.
You made the motion, didn't you? Did you make a motion?
Ms. Todd.
Joanne made the
I made the motion.
Yeah, I think I seconded.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0. Consider a retirement from service of K-9 due to medical disability.
That is so sad.
It's sad.
He's 11 years old,
I know, but it's,
but he's an excellent dog. He's the German Shepherd that we have. He's got a very good disposition.
yeah.
And he's been with Corporal Williams now, I guess, about 6 or 7 years.
I thought Ray did a good article on it. I move we approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0.
My granddaughter asked me who was Mr. K-9.
Consider approval to declare a vehicle surplus and advertise for sale on govdeals.com.
I move we approve this list for surplus and sale.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0. Consider first reading of an ordinance amending the Code of Griffin at Chapter 58, Offenses and Miscellaneous Provision, Article 1 at Section 58-9, False Alarms.
So, the way I read this, we're just upping the penalty, basically, for false alarms.
Yes, sir. You'll still receive 2 free alarm activations during a 30-day or monthly period. It's just because of cost, and we have never charged for the fire trucks cranking and going on a false alarm, ever.
Now,
We're adding the fire trucks.
is this from the security systems or just people calling in 911?
It's security system.
Security system?
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have a lot of that going on?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
That's what comes to my house.
Yes.
I'll be getting a ticket.
Are you getting high?
No, ma'am, if you actually have, for public consumption, if you have an issue and the alarm company tells us that it's malfunctioning, we probably will not charge you for a malfunctioning alarm.
Good.
Okay.
And are you going to make the motion?
Unless you don't get it fixed, as Mr. Smith said, unless you don't get it fixed.
Okay, you might get a ticket.
You going to make the motion?
Well, then I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, let be known by show of hands. 6-0.
Thank you.
Consider first reading of an ordinance amending the Code of Griffin at Chapter 38 Court by repealing the present chapter in its entirety and enacting a new Chapter 38 Court.
This is basically to clean up our current code and to also comply with two new laws that were passed in this session. One of those creates the position of a municipal court prosecutor for all cities in Georgia who have a municipal court, which should be all cities. And also sets some standards for training, basic training that the prosecutor will now start going to and the city will have to start paying for. The other part of it was the bill that basically limits the sanctions that can be imposed for certain felony offenses, where some of these folks will no longer be going to jail as a sentence. And that had an effect on what's called the bond preset list, which basically when you bring somebody in, it's going to change the amount of bond they'll have to pay. So we had to revise that process as well. So it's a complete rewrite. Our judges looked at it, our prosecutors looked at it, and everybody's comfortable with it.
I move we approve.
That's it.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0. Consider first reading of an ordinance amending the Code of Griffin at Chapter 63, Pawn Shop and Dealers, Section 63-6, exemptions, by deleting the present section in its entirety and enacting a new Section 63-6.
This basically came out of the new law dealing with what's called secondary metal recyclers. Part of the swap off that the legislature made in order to provide for regulation of these people who buy metals was to keep local governments from trying to attempt to regulate them and keeping us out of the process. We were already pretty much preempted by a prior law that Senator Mitch Seaball pushed through several years ago.
Yeah.
But we have still in our ordinance the provision that if their secondary metal recycler was not in compliance with the state law, then they fell back subject to our law regulating them as far as being checked and keeping records and whatnot. So we've had to eliminate that. That's one of two bills. The next ordinance is going to be similar to about preemption.
May I ask, Chief, the metal dealers are already complaining that this is a bunch of extra paperwork and burden. Do you think this law is going to really help us solve the problem? Your initial opinion?
I think we've seen a minimal slowdown of copper theft just because it went into effect on July the 1st. You have to have an HVAC license to be able to sell compressors or copper tubing or piping, so you have to be in the heating and air conditioning business to take it to blaze or bare metal. So it's already slowed it down a good bit as far as air conditioners go.
Well,
now, you can take a window unit. They're stealing window units all of a sudden because you can still take a window unit.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Well, in honor of Doug Holberg, who's not here tonight, I would like to move that we approve this.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let me know by show of hands.
Well, GMA, we'd like to monitor if this thing needs tweaking, so if you see something, I'd be happy to know it and pass it on.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Okay, consider first reading of an ordinance amending the code of Griffin at Chapter 10, amusement and entertainment by enacting a new Article 3, bona fide coin-operated amusement machines to enforce by ordinance within the city those certain prohibitions, restrictions, and regulations allowed by the 2012 session of the General Assembly of Georgia.
This again comes out of a new law that was enacted this year. It became effective July 1. It deals with these coin machines. This is an area that's kind of flipped back and forth between state law and local regulation over several years, but it's probably the most comprehensive rewrite, I would say, wouldn't you, Frank? That we've seen in the last several years, and hopefully it'll help us somewhat in the regulation of people who would abuse the privilege of having these machines in their places of business.
Do we have any internet cafes here now, Chief? Do we have any internet cafes here now? We used to.
No, we had one business that wanted to apply for a permit or a licensing for that particular business, but I don't think it went through.
It did not.
No, there's a lot of this in people's homes.
Yes,
you know,
ma'am.
they're gambling on the internet, which is, you can gamble anywhere. I mean, you should be able to do it in your home.
I thought it was nice of the state legislature to state that coin-operated washers and dryers and paid toilets are not amusement machines. So I'm glad they told us that.
You okay with that?
Therefore, I move we approve.
Well, I have another, the employees.
It may be amusing.
They kind of put the employees in a little soft spot there, because if I'm hiring somebody and I tell them to take money from somebody, accept money from somebody, or allow somebody to play a machine, if I don't do it, I'm fired.
Well, they can have the machines, and they'll probably still have them in all the convenience stores. Every convenience store in this city just about has video gaming devices. As long as it's not a game of chance, it is a game of skill, and they don't pay out any credit larger than $5, then we will not have an issue on the police side.
I would point out to you, too, that somewhat unusual about this law is that we can have an ordinance, but it's not a penal ordinance in the sense that our police would say go out and cite the individual and take them to municipal court. Instead, this provides only for a civil penalty. So the way it's been established under this was actually a model ordinance that GMA distributed to us. And the way it's been established, the city manager is the one who will impose penalties. Actually, if the business is cited and cleans up their act for the first occurrence, they're just going to get a warning. And that's all in the law itself. So it's not the equivalent of a situation where somebody could be incarcerated, perhaps, for violating it.
Okay. Well, I move that we approve that in here. Second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 6-0. Okay, consider approval to purchase one 2013 Ford Explorer from Speedway Ford in the amount of $22,515.86.
I move we approve, and again, this is below the state contract price. That's good.
Right, and I second it.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, let me know by show of hands. 6-0.
Thank goodness.
You'll be able to drive it too.
Consider the reinstatement of the golf course escrow fee of $1 per round and $1 per cart rental effective August 1st, 2012.
I move that we approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a
I'm
second.
second, but I do have a question.
Okay.
Do we think that $1 is going to make a difference?
$1 has made a big difference. That's how they've got an escrow account right now that's $164,000.
It pays for the clubhouse that we currently have, it pays for
The pavilion?
the greens that we're renovating now, and it pays for the equipment. So over a period of time, it builds up, and we're gonna need to replace the irrigation system sometime.
And I think y'all charging seniors too much, a little bit too much.
$5?
I think the rates are very good, really, and I hope that we're gonna be competitive. My spy was out there yesterday and, talked with city personnel, and, they're excited about the greens, and they know that it's gonna improve and bring in more rounds.
Yeah, they're doing a good job right there.
Yeah.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Approved.
Okay. All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0. Consider an intergovernmental contract between the City of Griffin and Spalding County for the conducting of municipal elections.
Madam Chair, I move we approve.
Yeah.
I second it. I have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? Let it be known by, all in favor, let it be known by show of hands.
You're not omnipotent, you can't.
Consider the memorandum of agreement between the City of Griffin and the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia for the University of Georgia Carl Benson Institute of Government to develop a new position classification system and compensation plan for the city.
Madam Chair, I move we approve.
I second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor, let it be known by show of hands. 6-0. Okay. Comments from the city manager?
Yes, ma'am. Tomorrow, we have a meeting scheduled, staff meeting scheduled with Spalding County to at least begin discussing our impending loss renegotiations. Tomorrow's scheduled just for a staff meeting for us to kind of lay some groundwork, maybe talk about how to proceed if we don't come to an agreement. There is another meeting scheduled for July 25th, which, depending on how the meeting goes tomorrow, may be a little bit more involved. I know the county chairperson appointed a member of the County Board of Commissioners to represent them if that July 25th meeting requires involvement from an elected official, and I just wondered, Madam Chairperson, if you were of mind to do likewise, or how we wanted to proceed with the 25th meeting, depending on how tomorrow's meeting goes.
Would you like to give to somebody now?
Whatever you or the board decide how you want to proceed. I don't know if we want to proceed likewise with the way they're going to have a single representative, at least preliminary, because everything's preliminary at this point, and we don't know where those discussions will go. But
I think basically because I think the chairperson was the chairperson that at the county that decided not to go, and then the second person in charge is going. Tentatively right now, I think that's the same thing we should do. I'm not, for the same reason that she's not going.
I think that's a wise decision.
So you want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, I will keep Ms. Todd informed of subsequent meetings and where we need to go from there, and I will keep the entire board informed as to how the staff meeting goes tomorrow.
It would be wonderful if y'all can get it resolved tomorrow.
I would love very much for that to happen. Also a reminder, the Airport Authority will have their organizational meeting on the 16th at 10 o'clock. That will be in this room. Our next Citizen Government Academy starts the Thursday after Labor Day, so it's first Thursday in September. We've already got 12 students that have applied to be in that class. So if you have constituents of those people that you have dealt with over the year that you think would make good students for that, we urge them to get their applications in. And can you hear better tonight?
Yes.
Can you hear better
We
out
have
there? Good, yes.
We have worked on our sound system and got a couple of new microphones, if I could get people to keep their hands off of them.
And that's
but
the court system, right? It's not us.
Well, yes, ma'am. But hopefully you were able to hear better, so that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Do you have anything?
I don't have anything tonight.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Beyond?
Yes, I would just like to thank Mr. Bosch for doing the good job that he's doing during the storm. We really appreciate you, and I want you to keep doing what you're doing. And I just want to make mention of the 4th of July parade. It was real nice. I really enjoyed it, and we had a real good time there. Me and Commissioner Ward was the only two commissioners.
Well, you know why I was standing at a corner.
Yeah.
Get a picture of my son.
I was doing the Peachtree Road race. Okay.
Commissioner Morrow?
I do have a couple things, if you bear with me a minute. We've mentioned our archive project. We have a tremendous history in Griffin, Spalding County. We have general history, the Georgia history, all sorts of individual stories. We have a rich African-American history here. We have Civil War history. We have the textile industry. We have Doc Holliday. We have all sorts of fascinating pieces of history. We have been remiss in not collecting all of the written material on these histories. So our new archive will give us that opportunity, and I enlist the help of everybody in this room and certainly on this board to help us encourage people to bring their material. We want to have a way to scan this and digitize it, so if we can borrow originals, we can copy it, and I'm excited. Upson County now is getting 3,000 to 4,000 visitors a year at their archive. Folks coming in doing research, genealogical and other. A lot of those come from all over the United States because they have ancestors here. So I think this is a real tourism project. Plus, it's just the right thing to do to collect these histories. So please join in and help. The other thing, I'm going to shift gears because I think a member of our board needs a good pat on the back, a kudo. In the United States now, we have 1.2 million or more folks that are HIV positive. We know it is AIDS, of course. It's been a terrible blight on our country and the world. We have about 250,000 folks in this country that are HIV positive that don't know it. And that's part of the spreading problem, if you will. We have over 50,000 cases a year, new HIV cases. And a lot of that's because people don't know they have the HIV virus themselves. So one of our commissioners, Ms. Cora Flowers, has recognized that not only this is a national problem, but it's certainly a local problem. And if you're involved in public health here, you understand it is a serious local problem, HIV. And she has stepped up and formed a group called Love Struck, incorporated, raised money, and are out encouraging folks and helping them come forward and get HIV tested so that they know that they are a carrier and hope to cut down on this deadly transmission. So this to me is the ultimate in public service, is when you see a problem out there and you just go out and find a solution, go to work. And I think you deserve credit from this board. I thank you for what you're doing. Thank you very much. And I'm done.
Thank you. Commissioner McNaught. Commissioner Flowers. Nothing. Commissioner Todd.
I would like to remind everyone that there's a political forum on Thursday night at the Welcome Center. And we had, the NAACP had a very nice forum last night at 8th Street Baptist Church. Well attended, and I think practically everyone running for office was there. Anthony Dukes and I spoke on the T-Splosh, just giving the basic information. I'm sure that will come up again Thursday night, and as an interested citizen, if you're able to attend, it sure would be nice. We don't have any candidates on that, but people that we will interact with daily as your representatives will be running for office, and that's a good time to go. And they're going to have ice cream. You know, I bet we'd have more people here if we served ice cream after the meeting. But anyway, please remember to do that. And Shahir, I thought the parade was wonderful. I was so glad I was not driving a golf cart and throwing out candy, because I got to take pictures of my son, who was the Grand Marshal.
What time is the forum Thursday?
7 o'clock, I think. Yeah.
At the Welcome Center.
Right, at the Welcome Center. That's all I have.
Okay. I had made a suggestion to Mr. Smith that we have not had, we had the one-day thing, retreat thing, workshop early this year, and I know in the last 2 years, maybe 3 years, as a board, we have not had a retreat where we could actually sit down and really do work, do some things that we need to do as a board. And that's what I'm recommending, that we allow him to search out a time and a place for us to actually have a retreat to really do some work. And if you all don't have a problem with it.
I don't. I think it's an excellent suggestion.
All right, I think it's a good idea.
Okay. All righty. If there's nothing further, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
All right. All in favor, let it be known by show of hands.